Hello, my friends. Imagine a life where your emotions don't control you but instead serve you, guiding you toward clarity and strength. How would that feel? Let's explore how mastering your emotions can lead to a life of profound freedom and fulfillment. Every day, we're faced with situations that test our patience, challenge our beliefs, or stir up deep emotions. It might be an argument with someone close, an unexpected setback at work, or even the frustration of waiting in a long line. In these moments, the natural instinct is to react. But what if I told you that your reactions, not the events themselves, determine the quality of your life? This is the power you hold, the power to choose your response. The first step in mastering this power is understanding that your emotions are signals, not commands. When someone offends or angers you, the immediate reaction might be to retaliate or defend yourself. But reacting in the heat of the moment often leads to regret. Instead, pause. In that pause, you'll find your strength. It's not weakness to hold your tongue or take a moment to breathe, it's wisdom. Think about it, when you react impulsively, you hand over your power to the situation or the person involved. But when you pause and respond thoughtfully, you reclaim your power. The key is awareness. Begin to notice your triggers, the moments that spark anger, frustration, or anxiety. Recognize them for what they are, opportunities to practice control and to rise above. Let me share something profound about emotions. They are like waves, they come and go. If you allow yourself to feel them without attaching to them, they lose their grip on you. For example, if someone criticizes you, you might feel hurt or angry. But instead of reacting immediately, ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this about them, or is it about me? Often, our reactions reveal more about our inner state than the external event. This brings us to a vital point: emotions are rooted in perception. Change your perception, and you change your emotional response. Imagine someone cutting you off in traffic. The initial thought might be, how dare they? But what if you paused and thought, perhaps they're rushing to an emergency? The situation hasn't changed, but your perception softens your emotional reaction. Learning not to react doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. Suppression creates a buildup that eventually explodes. Instead, it means acknowledging your feelings without letting them dictate your actions. Say to yourself, I feel angry, but I choose not to act on this anger right now. This choice is powerful. It separates you from the emotion and allows you to respond with clarity. Here's another practical approach: visualization. Before entering a potentially challenging situation, visualize yourself staying calm and composed. See yourself listening without interrupting, breathing deeply, and responding with intention. This mental rehearsal prepares your mind and body to remain steady, no matter what unfolds. One of the most transformative practices is mindfulness. Spend a few minutes each day simply observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you become aware of your internal world, you'll find it easier to control how you respond to the external world. For instance, if you notice tension rising during a conversation, take a slow, deep breath. This simple act signals your nervous system to calm down and create space for thoughtful response. Let's talk about the impact of not reacting on your relationships. When you practice restraint, you create a space for understanding and compassion. Imagine someone yelling at you. Your instinct might be to yell back. But if you remain calm, you defuse the situation. Your calmness might even inspire the other person to reflect on their behavior. Relationships flourish when at least one person chooses not to react impulsively. This practice also extends to how you handle challenges and setbacks. Life will throw curveballs, it's inevitable. But your reaction determines whether those challenges strengthen you or break you. Instead of reacting with despair or frustration, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean denying them. It means giving yourself the freedom to choose how you respond. Emotions are temporary, but your actions can have lasting effects. By mastering the art of not reacting, you align yourself with a higher level of awareness and power. The path to emotional mastery requires practice. You won't get it perfect every time, and that's okay. Each moment you choose to pause instead of react, you're building a stronger foundation for your emotional well-being. Celebrate your progress, even if it's small. Over time, you'll notice a profound shift in how you experience life. When it comes to emotions, it's essential to understand that they are not your identity. Often, we confuse the feeling with who we are. The emotion comes and goes, but it does not define you. Imagine an emotion as a passing cloud. It's there for a while, and then it fades away. If you can train yourself to step back and observe the emotion instead of identifying with it, you will discover that you have the ability to create space between your emotional triggers and your reactions. In this space, there is freedom. This process begins with practicing self-awareness. When you are aware of your emotional patterns, you can choose to change them. A common challenge many people face is becoming overwhelmed by their emotions in stressful situations. Whether it's frustration at work, stress with family, or disappointment with life's circumstances, emotions have the potential to dominate your state of mind. But the trick is not to fight against the emotion, but rather to acknowledge it, give it space, and allow it to pass. One of the best ways to create this awareness is by checking in with yourself throughout the day. Ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? This simple question will help you develop emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and understand your emotions and the emotions of others. The more aware you become of your emotions, the more control you will have over how you react to them. When you encounter a challenging situation, take a deep breath and observe the feeling. You may feel a rush of anger, frustration, or sadness, but those feelings are not permanent. They are temporary states that will fade. The trick is to allow yourself to feel them without becoming overwhelmed by them. You can say to yourself, this is an emotion, and it will pass. The moment you detach from the emotion, you regain control over your response. Many people make the mistake of acting impulsively in the heat of the moment, especially when they are emotionally charged. But when you choose not to react immediately, you create an opportunity for a more thoughtful and conscious response. This conscious response can make all the difference. Instead of escalating a situation with a harsh word or an impulsive decision, you can choose a path of calm and clarity. When you do this, you empower yourself. You control the situation instead of letting the situation control you. This approach doesn't mean that you suppress your feelings. Rather, it means that you choose to act from a place of strength, not from a place of emotional reactivity. The most effective way to master this process is through consistent practice. In the beginning, it may feel difficult, and you might slip into old patterns of reactivity. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. And when you finally experience the clarity and peace that come from not reacting, you'll realize how much power you truly have. Responses are a choice, and with enough practice, you can train yourself to always choose the response that aligns with your higher self. Emotional control also allows you to set boundaries. When you are not reacting impulsively, you can maintain healthier relationships. People will respect you more when they see that you are not easily rattled by emotional turmoil. When you are emotionally stable, you create a foundation of trust and mutual respect in your interactions. People feel safe around you because they know that you will respond thoughtfully, not react emotionally. To conclude, let's reflect on the beauty of restraint. When you choose not to react, you create a space for peace, understanding, and growth. You rise above the chaos and connect with your true power, the power to respond with intention and grace. Start practicing this today. The next time you feel the urge to react, pause. Breathe. Choose your response. In that choice lies your freedom.